You're watching an interview program and it's me, Жанна Hussainova. Every day we create gigabytes of information, photos, videos, documents. But where is all of this stored and how do companies protect it from hackers and ransomware? Today we are joined by Marie-Laure Retoureau, the Vice President of Sales at Scality, at the international company that knows everything about the future of data storage. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks for welcoming me.
Yeah, thank you very much. So my first question is, let's explain to our audience, to the Kazakhstani people, right? What is Scality, what the company actually does?
Okay. So simply put, what we do for a living, and that's the only thing we do, is to provide storage data infrastructure for enterprises, service providers, and government. So Scality has customers in 70 countries in the world. We have people in 16 countries. And actually we have three pillars on which we work, which are the cloud infrastructure, cyber security, because nowadays it's it's best to be protected, and AI data platform. So we can speak about this if you want to. Yeah.
Thank you. So today we often heard the phrase, the cloud, right? And data storage as well. What makes Scality's approach different and unique comparing to other companies?
So yeah, that's a very good point, actually. Cloud is, it's more than a buzzword now, but it is definitely what people say, oh, do you have data in the cloud? So to be honest, not every data is meant to be in the cloud, you know, especially for sovereignty or security reasons. But to answer your question, what it is we do, we actually bring the cloud to our customer, okay? So what we give to our customer is the ability for them to build their own infrastructure on their data center and provide them with the data infrastructure that allows them to act as a cloud provider. So let me give you an example, like KazCloud in Kazakhstan is one of our customers. So what KazCloud does is that they use Scality technology to offer to Kazakhstani people services like S3 as a service, backup as a service. So basically we give the infrastructure for KazCloud to provide you guys with, you know, S3 or backup services. So that's what we do. So on a cloud perspective, we help the service provider to build their infrastructure, but also let's take another example, like a large bank, Eurasian Bank, for instance, or Kaspi Bank, for instance. They could also be their own internal service provider, you know, should they have subsidiary on a worldwide basis. So that's also what we do. So we help our customer to be their own, you know, to build their own private cloud.
How many customers do you have in Kazakhstan?
I think probably around 10 today, ranging from healthcare, like, you know, clinic, the oncology clinic, which I think changed name, bank like Eurasian Bank, service provider like KazCloud, Damumed, for instance. So, you know, a few. Yeah.
Wow. What are the biggest challenges companies face today when it comes to storing data?
Well, there are quite a few, but I like to usually summarize by like 3 words. I think one of the challenges, especially with the growth of AI, is the scalability. You will have to, more and more, we as storage vendor, we need to be able to provide the ability to scale a lot, so which is already something that Scality does. We have customers started very low capacity, like, I don't know, 20 terabytes, for instance. But we also have customers using us to store exabytes of data. So you see the spectrum is huge. So I think scalability is one. The second one is reliability, because it is important when you store data that your data is always on. There's something which is very scary for customers, whether they are service provider, government, is that to lose data. If you lose data, you lose a service, you potentially lose a very, very important asset. And the third point for me is security, because cybersecurity is really rising. You need to be able to provide solutions that prevent customers from ransomware attack, cyber attack. AI is also going to fuel some of the good things, but the bad things. So those are the three elements that are super important. And in each of those, Scality is a proven solution. We scale predictability, what's the word in English? Predictability. We are very secure and very reliable. So, to give you an example, the lifespan of our customer with us is around 15 years, and they experience maybe a P1 every 10 years, but we've never lost any data to any of our customers. And actually, the first customer we had in 2010, still a customer of ours today.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah,
and
it is actually, yeah.
It's a good sign of reliability and the security that you provide. Kazakhstan is actively, right now, is actively developing its digital economy, as you may know. Which Scality solutions could be the most useful for our market?
So, again, we had the chance to start discussing at government level of what Scality and how Scality can help in the AI-driven transformation of the country, which is really going rapidly. So if you recall what I just said at the beginning, what it is we do, we basically provide the data storage infrastructure. So if you look at it from the AI or digital transformation of the country, what is going to happen is that there is going to be more and more data exponentially. There is going to be more and more usage of this data from the people, from the organization, from the government. And there is something when you deal with data, some of the data is actually what we call very hot data. You need to access this data regularly and rapidly. So usually you keep that data in a layer that we call HPC, high performance computing. Scality comes at the back of it. So not all data is super hot. Some data is warm and cold, and you basically need to push this data to a solution like Scality that allows you to keep the data for long term on a very total cost of ownership, which is very effective. So to answer your question, Scality is very well positioned to provide, if you wish, the AI data lake that government and organization will need to keep the data for a very long term. So this is where we are absolutely spot on and a very good solution.
I'm sure you have partnerships around the globe and in Central Asia also. What are the countries that you communicate with, that you have partnerships with, agreements in Central Asia?
Yeah, Scality did a very good job in setting up worldwide partnership with companies like HP, Cisco, Supermicro, so hardware vendors, if you wish. Something I didn't mention, technically, Scality is a software-defined solution, which means that we are a software-only company, and we can run on any hardware the customer wishes to have, whether it's got HP, Cisco, Lenovo, what have you. So we have different level of partnerships. So the worldwide OEM partnership, as I said, HP, Cisco, Supermicro, and then we have local partnership in the countries, because you need to work with people that understand really how the market is working. So for instance, in Kazakhstan, we work a lot with HP locally, Cisco, but also with companies like Marvell, Comportal, ATK, so local partners that have specificity in certain vertical. And we do the same in Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan. So, those are the three main countries that we really focus on in Central Asia.
Thank you. The volume of data in the world is growing, exponentially growing. How do you think the storage market will look like in 10 or 15 years?
So yeah, very good point. So a couple of things about this. Yes, the volume of data is exponentially growing. But compared to 20 years ago, this data is now what we call unstructured data, which is basically like what you do here, video, okay? This is also the video that our kids look on the streaming platform. This is everything related to AI and then IoT. So yes, this is exponentially growing. We estimate that in 2027, or in 2 years, 61% of the data storage will be based on unstructured data. And why am I saying this? Is because this is what we do. Scality was born to provide unstructured data, so like primarily S3 protocol. But I think, as you mentioned, the data is growing exponentially, but with this comes a question like, how do we secure the data? How do we scale the data? How is the data is going to be more efficient? Because this is one thing with AI, the data is going to be more efficient, but you also have to deal with larger set of data. So to answer your question, I think that within the next 5 to 10 years, obviously, unstructured data is going to grow. I think the S3 protocol is going to be some kind of the de facto protocol even for AI. Though at the beginning people said no because performance, but I think S3 will dominate. The other thing is that cloud is going to grow. I mean, outside of the hyperscalers like Amazon, Google, Azure, this is going to grow. But I think there will still be also a lot of growth in what we do on-prem data, especially because sovereignty is becoming more and more important, and security also. So I think we will see some kind of an hybrid model with the cloud growing, but also on-premise growing. But definitely the growth of data is not going to stop. So, and I think that in the next coming years, we will see even new technology. AI is already moving to what we call, agentic, and we have also coming, quantic. So who knows? In 10 years, maybe you won't be there. Maybe it'll be an IA.
I hope we will have time and
yes.
also the space to meet and discuss the changes that will happen. And my last question, very shortly, we're limited in time, unfortunately. How the artificial intelligence and new technologies, as you already mentioned, changing the way we store and the way we use data right now?
It's a big topic. For me, AI transformation is like probably the industrial revolution that happened at the early of the 20th century. I don't think that we can totally measure today what are the changes that it is going to bring to us as individuals on our daily work and daily life. But definitely, I think one of the key reasons is that what AI is changing is that everybody is using it. You, me, your kids, my kids, whatever. Before, data was kind of more like a IT world kept for specialists, if you wish. Nowadays, everybody is using AI, from the very, very top specialists to 5 or 10 years old. And that is definitely going to change everything. What it is going to change exactly, I don't know, I can't tell you, but definitely a big change.
Thank you very much for being here, answering our questions. I hope we'll see each other in 15 or 10, 15 years to discuss the changes. Thank you, Marie-Laure, very much. It was my pleasure to talk to you today.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was an interview program on 24KZ channel, and my name, Zhanna Husainova. Thank you very much for being with us. See you next time.